Hey there, Tyler. What's
Hey,
up,
what's
man?
going on, Justin?
Sorry for the runaround, dude. Got stuck. Literally, of course, as you get into the airport, they're following everybody between one car rental. Everybody.
Oh
So it's like,
man, sounds like a
I'm like,
nightmare.
how was that safe? I'm like, that's not safe. Getting everyone bunched up for one car rental. That's stupid.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude. I haven't been to the airport since January, so I don't even know what it looks like.
Oh, dude. Well, thank you, and happy Friday for you, man. I know
Yeah,
we're in the
same to
same
you.
time zone right now, and
Yeah, when we talked about doing this interview, I know we had said let's do 6 o'clock or whatever, and then I picked up some gigs, and man, it's hard to pass up some gigs right now. Everything's so scarce, so try to get them when you
oh,
can.
dude, I bet. I told you, I don't. And you need the gigs. I know music's finally coming alive in Nashville, and I was there a little month ago, so it's awesome to see it's kicking back up again.
Yeah, man. So you don't live here in Nashville?
No, no, I just go visit there every so often. I love it there. I'm
Where?
out in California,
Oh, okay. We're at in California.
Orange County, right by LA.
Right on, man. Yeah, I lived in Hollywood for a couple years, so awesome.
But now, I like asking this. Then, what's the music culture you think is difference between that and Nashville?
Well, man, I only was out there for like 2 years, so I don't think I spent enough time out there. I went out there to go to Musicians Institute, which is in Hollywood.
Yeah,
So that's what my experience was. And I tried to hang out for like another month or two after school ended. And it seemed very hard to break into the scene, man. It was like if you didn't have something to offer to somebody else, they didn't really want to talk to you or get to know you. Whereas when I moved here, Whiskey Jam was just starting up. This was like 2012. You could go to a bar on a Monday, meet somebody, and they'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Let's go on the road." And you'd have work, So it was totally different, man, from what my experience was. So
yeah, that's exactly how it is. Because in LA, there's any band you pay to play.
yeah,
Like you have to pay to play. But in Nashville, it's like I'm seeing, like you said, you want to go, oh, I'm going to play tomorrow night. You want to come jam with me?
yeah, everybody's a little more open out here. But I do have some friends that I went to school with that are very successful. They've gotten into the hip hop world, the pop world, and they seem to be doing really well. So I guess it's just not my scene. I don't know.
Well, now you're kind of like in this awesome crossroads where you're a gig guitar player. And like, you're the backbone behind a lot of like Jenny Teeter. When I came out and saw her out in Franklin and Grace and Franklin,
Yep.
you're working with all these different solo artists. And I don't think that's touched upon. People don't realize how much, the Kelly Clarksons or whatnot in the world, all the gigging guitarists that's behind them and touring with them.
Yeah, and that's what drew me to Musicians Institute was they helped you become a working musician, how you become a guitar player that gets hired by other people. So that's what I've been doing here in Nashville for the past 8 years, is being a hired gun, on the road. So trying to transition now from that into TV and film. That's what I really want to do. So I've been trying to work on that. But,
Now, for like, how are you Nashville born and raised, or you
no,
just moved out there like a decade ago?
no, I'm from Houston, Texas originally. Went to Texas A&M. While I was in school there, the job market didn't look great coming out of it. Wanted to keep playing guitar. Looked at Musicians Institute, and I was like, you know what? Let me go out there. They have a 1.5-year course. Let me go check it out, see what they have to offer. Maybe it's my way into the Hollywood scene. Of course, that didn't happen. But while I was out there, a drummer I had known from Houston, Texas, was living in Nashville. Like, dude, you just need to come out here, man. Come crash on my couch. Come see what it's about. I came out, checked it out, fell in love, moved like 2 months later. So,
And now you've just been traveling around and playing with different artists.
man, this year, no, not so much. But
No,
yeah, dude, there was 3 years in a row there being on radio tour or whatever. I would hit companion pass on Southwest like every year because I was flying so much. I was gone more than I was home. So yeah, it was nuts, man.
Now you came out to Northern California. You played at Levi Stadium for a halftime show with the Niners. Like
Yeah,
you've done a lot. Today's show. Like
yep. Yeah, last year I did. Yeah, I did the 49ers halftime show. I also did the Cardinals. One of them was a Monday Night Football. I can't remember which one. Yep, did the Today Show. That was last year. Yeah, so that was fun, man. Good stuff.
Now, do you see yourself staying? Like I know you said you're trying to get into film and
Yeah.
TV, but do you see yourself maybe staying as a gig artist, or do you want to work with a band ever? Like just like a solid band, making your own band or joining someone's band and being in one lineup as opposed to multiple people?
Yeah, I'm open to it all. I guess I'm at the point where I'm kind of picking and choosing the gigs that I take. Whereas when I first got here, I'd take anything just to make a living. But now I get to kind of pick and choose. I love being on the road, but I try to choose the artist I want to be out with, making sure I'm the right fit for it, not just choosing it because I need some money.
Yeah.
And I don't need to be on the road all the time. The gigs that I do have provide me enough income to where I don't have to, I get to pick and choose. And I want to be home more. I want to be producing more. I want to be writing for TV and film. Me and my wife, we both, I'll create the tracks and she comes and top lines on them because she's an incredible songwriter. So we're trying to really get you can't see it yet. The room has nothing in it. We just moved to a new space, but this will be a new home studio eventually. But yeah, that's what I want to do. And I'm not super interested in the original band thing. I've done that. I've tried it. I'm not super into trying to travel with an original band. I think that's super cool, but I think where I'm at right now, I'm not ready to do that anymore. So, yeah.
Which also congratulations, because you guys just recently got married as well.
Yeah, man. We've been together for a long time. We've been engaged for a long time, and because we're both musicians, we can never figure out, hey, do we want to have a traditional wedding? Do we want to do a destination wedding? We're both in different places all the time, and quarantine, is kind of, we've been like, why don't we just go down to the courthouse? Let's just make it easy, and then we'll focus on a cool honeymoon. But yeah, man. So we called down to the courthouse. We're like, oh, sorry, we're booked out for the rest of the year. We only have one judge doing weddings. We're like, oh, bummer. And then they called back and we're like, we're open this Thursday. This was 2 days, before September 3rd. And we're like, let's just go do it. So and we just made it happen. It was pretty sudden. So yeah.
Now, when you guys do the reception or whatnot, when everything's allowed to do that stuff, are you guys going to be your own band, or are you going to have to hire somebody out?
we would probably hire some friends and maybe join in and hang out for a song or two. But yeah, I don't know. Probably hire some friends or something.
I mean, they're going to have some standards. You got to realize what kind of wedding they're going to be playing at, or reception they're playing at.
Dude, it was so I was on the road for a while with this guy, Trent Harmon, who was an American Idol winner or whatever. But when the drummer had a wedding, everybody we know is musicians. So it was like live band karaoke, everybody was jumping up there and oh man, it was cool, dude, for sure.
Yeah, I could see that reception happening. That would be a fun reception.
Yeah, man. Oh man, we got Denmark in the house. Well, I think Denmark, correct? What's up,
Yeah,
buddy?
yeah, I think it was. Yeah, that's what the flag went up before I could see. Dude, so did you guys meet? Your wife's a songwriter as well, and did you guys meet as musicians beforehand?
Sorry, what did you say? I couldn't hear you.
You got your wife's a songwriter as well. Did you guys meet as musicians beforehand?
Yeah, so we met. You said you're familiar with Nashville, so we have, in town there's a lot of writers' rounds, things like that.
Yeah.
So when I first moved to town, there was, instead of Whiskey Jam was happening, it just wasn't as big as it was. But on Mondays there was also a girls' night that was the longest standing writers' round at the time. It was over at a place called Dan McGinnis that's no longer there. And I went over there to try to network. And she was one of the first people that I met. We didn't start dating until later on. But, I've played in bands. I've played for her when she was in a duo. So, yeah, we've done music together. We've been together for 8 years. But yeah, it's been great. So, yes, met her. She's from New York. So we met through music.
So why not take it to the next step? It seems like there's a lot of husband-wife combinations that are creating music together. You support an artist as well, that they're a husband and wife, and play with them.
Yep.
And do you guys see yourself? Have you guys written music together and maybe even put out some fun songwriter tunes together?
Yeah, we need to. We haven't put out anything. I guess when she first started as an artist, she had a song called Pawn Shop from 2012 that I was a session guitar player on. Other than that, nothing that she's put out have I been on since, but we do have, a lot of tracks that we do here at the house that we're pitching to TV and film. That's what we do together. But nothing that she has out as an artist. So other than Pawn Shop, which is, 8 years old now.
It sounds like you guys have the making of kind of Chris Stapleton. He was sending out his tracks to other people and he's like, what, screw this. I'm going to make my own tracks.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what I've been interested in doing, but it's just being gone all the time. I haven't had the time to do it. So quarantine's really allowed me to try to like focus on becoming better at mixing, becoming better at producing. So I've actually, a lot of people are bummed out having to stay home, but it's actually allowed me more time to get better at certain skills. So I enjoy
Yeah,
it.
that's exactly what I was going to go into, because obviously you have no more gigs. No one's gigging anymore for the, and thankfully things have been picking up in Nashville. How
Yeah.
was this time that you've used exposed, and have you creatively thrived more from it, or has it been kind of like a standstill?
Well, I would say as far as making money, it's been kind of
Money wise, yeah.
yeah, it's been pretty rough because most of my income has been from touring. Although I do, do the Facebook Live things and stuff like that with a few artists. There's this guy Court Carpenter who I've been with for about 8 years, and he has a pretty loyal fan base, man. And we'll get on there and we'll play some acoustic tunes, hang out with them, drink. We'll do it about every other week or so, and really they've been the ones that kind of kept us going financially, man. I'm very thankful for them. And him as an artist, he has what is it, a Patreon page. So I help him create content for that. Like we'll do, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. We'll do acoustic stripped down versions of his songs. There's acoustic covers of things that like he's a country artist, but we'll do like Imagine Dragon covers, things like that. And be like, hey, find out who Cord is behind the scenes. And I help him create the content for that. We have a podcast that we share with the Patreon page. So he's been kind of the one financially keeping me going. Um, but other than that, this, like I was saying, it's allowed me a lot more time to focus on producing and writing and things like that. So I've been busy, man. I feel like I've been busier than I ever have, really, with music, man. It's been great, just not as profitable. But
But you have the load up now, kind of like now things are, way more in Nashville. You can do more and then put it out more and actually work more. Now, when you're working
yeah.
with artists like Court or Jenny Teeter or anything like that, do you have any creative say when they're doing their music and whatnot? Do you have creative input as a guitar player for them?
So it's gig by gig basis, I feel like, man. Like, so that husband and wife duo that you were mentioning, their stuff was pretty like, it was set. These are your parts. This is what you play, and they were pretty like strict. Like, this is our production. This is how we want us to sound. Then you have people like Jenny or Court. He'll allow you some freedom, as long as if he has signature riffs or licks in the song, you want to make it sound like the song, so the fans
Yeah.
obviously recognize that. With people like Jenny, if she has recorded material, I try to stick to what is on the album. But she's a fairly new artist. She has a lot of new songs she's constantly pumping out, which her and my wife write together all the time. So a lot of those songs are songs that they've written together. But if there was just a work tape, like a cell phone thing of them strumming through an acoustic, I'll try to just make up an intro or something, like a melodic hook or whatever. So yeah, she's allowed me a lot of freedom. The Jenny gig's super fun, man. So have you seen us full band at all?
Not
Like
full band.
online?
I think last time, I don't think that's not considered full band.
No, that was just acoustic.
Yeah.
So I had never done that with her. In the past, I did a couple full band shows with her, and all of those songs, we might have played one or two of them that night at Gray's. Other than that, the rest of the material was like super new to me, and I was, trying to follow them and hang in there. Hopefully it was somewhat convincing, and I wasn't ruining it for her. But yeah, her music is fun, dude. Yeah, she's fun to play with.
Well, it shows even on, because I'm pretty sure, a bunch of songs that at least I heard, like, you went off some nice guitar solos.
Thanks.
And just going off and relax with it. So as it's easy to see when you can notice when there's creative flow put in from other people playing as opposed to just going to be playing by the book, by the recorded track.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's there's definitely a difference for sure. And it's fun, man. She's a good guitar player herself, so it always helps when you have good rhythm behind you. The bass player's killer. He goes off on like cool, like textural, like ambient bass stuff, which I don't ever hear bass players do. So it's super cool.
Oh yeah, I was blown away by him. He seems like such a quiet gentleman, but he's a phenomenal bass player.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I met him on that gig, so that was awesome, dude. I really appreciated her, introducing me to him. So I would love to get him in on some other gigs in the future when it comes back around. But
no, it's not. It's also like on where you are at in your career point and what you're trying to do. as a gig guitarist for so long now, and, picking and choosing your gigs. Marty Freeman from Megadeth had once said, saying, making money from music is like winning a lottery, but playing music with a band or artist you like is a jackpot.
Yeah, dude. Getting to do it, like doing what you want to do and having the freedom to create music yourself, man. That's what it's about, dude. That's why we all started doing it, you know?
Now, with any of these artists that you've done, have there been like any horror stories that you just like? I'm not going to make you say names or anything, but any times where you just like, dang, this isn't for me, or this gig, I don't want to work with this person anymore.
Oh yeah, it's happened hundreds of times. Gone on the roads on one-offs and ended up in little shit towns you don't want to end up in. The singer doesn't know his own songs, and the band had all just met each other that day, getting in the van. Oh yeah, there's countless times like that where you all meet up at van call that morning and end up in Chicago or something that night, and hope everybody's learned the music. Dude, and then there's times, some of the bands are just like party bands and all they want to do is drink. I mean, there's times I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn, I'm so good. And I'm looking back and he's throwing up behind the drum kit, trying to still play. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? So many bar band stories,
Trying to live the rock and roll lifestyle.
I guess. But yeah, man, it's like you said, like getting to play music for a living is great, man. I love it. Sometimes you get a little tired of just learning the parts for gigs. You want to get back to that creative side. And I think that's what the TV and film thing has kind of done for me, being able to create for that. I have an outlet now, an actual music outlet to be free, be creative again. And it's been fun, man. It's been refreshing, So I don't find myself playing guitar as much. I'm more trying to, focus on mixing and things like that. But it's cool, man. I dig it. It looks like you've been playing guitar a lot, man. You're always posting guitar videos. That's cool.
Yeah, man. And it's actually kind of funny. I played a decade ago, and then I stopped playing when I joined the Army. I'm an Army vet. And I picked it up during quarantine again after a decade, and it just all the gates just opened up.
Oh, dude, it's awesome, man. Yeah, dude, I have like no metal chops, dude. It's bad. I'm watching your videos. I'm like, shit, I need to practice, dude. My right hand is awful.
Well, dude, it's like actually I've been more paying attention to. I've been diving more into theory. That's what I've been taking into. It's one to, you can feel. It's all about feeling the guitar, but then I want to learn more about the music theory.
Yeah.
Going through the scales and modes and understanding where everything's at. As soon as I go, because everything through scale wise is in standard tuning. All right, cool. I want to understand that. Now I'm going to go drop C. Where are all my scales at? I'm going down and drop C.
Yeah, you want to be able to transpose it and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's important to know. And growing up, I didn't have YouTube or anything, so man, it's all right there on YouTube now. I mean, it can be overwhelming. It can be, it's good and bad. You can get lost in it and overwhelmed, but if you know kind of how to focus your searches, you can definitely find some good content.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up as a guitar player yourself. It seems like now there's so many, over the last 5 years, the evolution of music making has changed. Even a decade has been a huge turn.
Yeah.
And now so many freaking musician, Fender Play, all these pay to play apps are, they're teaching you to play and whatnot. It's like more guitar players. Steve Vai, yes sir. Steve Vai's book is legendary. I own that book. Such a great.
He has a new theory book out.
Yeah.
I have to check that out.
Oh no, his original one. It's I think he's talking about which one is it? Oh, okay. No, I have his Warrior. I have the Steve Vai Warrior workout one that he made like back in the late '90s, and that one's just like still another Bible as well. But Steve Vai is a classic. I aspire maybe one day to even touch his greatness.
Dude, I still open up some of those old Guitar World magazines that are like his. I forgot what it is, but like 40-hour workout or something, 40-hour guitar player, or 10-hour a day practice schedule. I'm like, oh geez, be lucky to pick it up for an hour a day.
But so with all this digital technology, like making people, give access to maybe learn guitar that they couldn't do before, do you think it's creating a saturation of maybe a cookie cutter guitar player as opposed to a guitar player who has to force and learn and kind of feel it out and naturally have a groove to himself?
I think it's definitely hurting people's ears. They're not learning to play by ear. And early on, having to do that, you develop ear training and figuring out where those notes are. I know for me, I started with tab and relied a lot on tab, and I kind of wish I had started more with learning things by ear, because when I got to Musicians Institute, we had to start taking ear training. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go, I wish people had to learn by ear. You hear of all those old cats that are like, oh, I had the record, just picked up the needle and kept dropping it back till I figured it out. And I think that's important, man.
Now, how about on the recording side for you? Like, you've seen, because as you're mixing and doing stuff and whatnot, are you using like Logic and whatnot, or Appleton, or?
I use Logic.
And just going from like, because when you moved to Nashville 8 years ago, right?
Yeah.
About.
Yeah.
And I mean, even then, 8 years ago, the making music was a lot different then.
Oh yeah.
How do you think? Do you think it's more organic? Do you think it's easier now for people now with these new tools, and everyone can be a pro mixer in their house with a MIDI controller or whatnot, as opposed to being able to go to an actual professional studio and
it's a lot less organic. A lot less organic. There's a lot of stuff that's in the box. A lot of, you can program drums. I mean, you can get pretty close, man. I mean, I think it's better to be as organic as possible. Like, there's a lot of times I may just be like, let me throw the shaker loop on here, and make it easy. But I think it means something, dude, when you actually pick up a shaker and you put it down, and you record it yourself. Like, those little imperfections, you want to make sure it's all in time and grit it, but like those little imperfections really bring out a more human factor, man. But yeah, I mean, Nashville still does it right. Like the bigger guys out there, man, they, they'll pay for studio time and they have a full band tracking all at the same time, and I think that's super cool. And that's super special about Nashville, is that they're still doing that.
That's what's drawn to me as well. Is anytime, any given place, it's just like, it's such a natural passion.
Yeah.
You can't fabricate that.
Yeah, Nashville's a special place right now, man. I don't see anywhere else that has as strong of a music community currently. But yeah, I don't know, man. What's going on in Austin? I see you landed there.
I'm supporting a great. I interviewed him about 2 months ago, maybe 2 months ago. I met him last year. A great songwriter named Sean James. Phenomenal songwriter, and he was opening for him. He's from Austin, and he's doing a show out here, and I interviewed him on this Instagram Live, and he has this soul. He basically fuses soul and rock and roll together.
Oh, that's cool.
He has a soul and R&B music background. He kind of made a transition into this, I would say, even like Jimi Hendrix type vibe with the band that he has.
That's awesome. Is he from Austin, or where's he?
Not originally. He's originally from the East Coast, and then he moved out here to Austin.
Okay, man. I hear that because music was big in Austin when I was like in high school and before that, and then around the time that I decided to go to LA, music was kind of dead. And there's my wife poking in. But yeah, music was kind of dead in Austin. But I don't know, man. I think you're going to see a resurgence in music again there. Yeah, this is Sky. So a lot of songs you hear with Jenny's stuff, her and Jenny write it together.
Weren't you saying that they weren't that great? I could have swore you said that.
The songs weren't good? Shit. I thought I put these headphones back on. Yeah, so this is well, if you look her up on Instagram, it'll be Sky Claire.
Hello.
Pleasure to meet you. Congratulations as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I've heard some of your stuff as well with Jenny. You're a phenomenal songwriter as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm a good friend and huge fan of Jenny. So, yeah, we've written a lot of cool stuff together.
It's amazing the amount of talent I've seen that's come out of Nashville. It's just like it just keeps coming out, and it's more funny. It's because you're not originally from Nashville. Jenny's not originally from Nashville. It's kind of like the talent just ends up in Nashville and becomes better.
Yeah, dude, it's cool, man. It's kind of a shit or get off the pot town, dude. So, it only makes you either you get, intimidated and you leave, or you stay here and you grow. So
I'll let you guys keep at it. Sorry.
Okay.